Carter from Carter Curricula, where I am on a mission to savor our shared humanity by analyzing poetry in this instance. Poetry that is filled with humanity. The poetry that we're taking a look at is a collection of poems. We're taking a look at 10 of them from this book, Black Feeling, Black Talk, Black Judgment by Nikki Giovanni. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time to just be with me as I uh, analyze these poems and give them commentary and even apply some of them. This is the love of my life. I enjoy this so much. I enjoy writing poetry, reading literature as a whole, reading literature and making sense of it as I live the literary life. And that's what I am offering you is a literary life that we live together via YouTube, obviously, but nonetheless, the literary life is what I'm looking to offer, not just you, but myself as well. This poem, Knoxville, Tennessee, I need to start off by asking you a question and then sharing my own experience before I start my analysis and breakdown of this particular passage. First question that I have for you is, where did you grow up? Knoxville, Tennessee is apparently a place that Nikki Giovanni has in mind as a place where she grew up, where she has very fond memories. Wherever you grew up, I'm not going to assume that everybody has fond memories about where they grew up or even has memories at all about what they grew up, where they grew up. But those of you who do have a memory about where you grew up, let me ask you a couple questions. What do you remember about the place where you grew up? What do you remember about your childhood that you could that you have nostalgic memories about? Memories where you just cling to those memories and you'll have those memories until the day you die. What do you remember? What do you remember about it? I remember, man, I grew up in Wilmington, California. It was a place where people didn't have a whole bunch of money. I remember seeing those containers that are on the back of semi trucks. They were lined across the top of this hill that we lived beneath. Right, there was actually oil refineries all around us. I remember that. My grandmother lived down the street. My great grandmother lived down the other street. My aunts and uncles lived around the corner. My aunt actually lived right across the street from my grandmother, and my great aunts and uncles. Some of them lived right in the same house as my great grandmother. I had family all around. Even the people who were on the street that I lived on, they weren't even family, but they acted as if they were. I was welcome at the house whenever they wanted me to come over. Wilmington, California. We would have races, my brother and sister. We would have races down the street from my house to my grandmother's house. We were told to ride our bike. My brother and my sister, we were told to ride our bike from my house to about 5 or 6 houses down to my grandmother's house and come right back. And we'd have scary adventures where we'd say, forget this, man. Let's go a little bit farther. And we go a little bit farther exploring the neighborhood. Sure, we weren't supposed to do it, but we didn't go too far. But this is my childhood, and this is the childhood I reflect upon nostalgically. This is the childhood that I tell my kids that I had, at least for some of my life. And in about fifth grade, we moved away from Wilmington, and really our family didn't have the same tightness or connection. At least we didn't have the same tightness or connection with my family from that point on in my whole entire life. But early days, man, I was around cousins, aunts, uncles, great uncles, grandmother, grandfather, people across the street acted as if they were my grandfather and grandmother. People down the street were actually my great grandmother and my great aunts and uncles, cousins, second cousins, first cousins, all over the place in that neighborhood. It was a special, special time of growing up. Well, Knoxville, Tennessee is apparently the speaker's special place and special time where she grew up. It reminds me of the text written by Gary Soto. I think it was called The Summer Life. Man, that was a very nostalgic tale as well. This reminds me of that same, gives me that same feel, right? I'll read the tale, I'll read the poem, and then I'll make sense of it, and then we will depart our way. We'll go our own separate ways. I always like summer best. You can eat fresh corn from Daddy's garden, and okra and greens and cabbage and lots of barbecue and buttermilk and homemade ice cream at the church picnic and listen to gospel music outside at the church homecoming, and go to the mountains with your grandmother, and go barefooted and be warm all the time, not only when you go to bed and sleep. Notice what she does here, and I'm just noticing this at this moment. Actually, I didn't notice this earlier on. Notice what she does in order to move the pace quickly, right? And that gives this the fact that she moves the pace quickly gives me an idea of maybe her idea of what almost childhood was like. At least it seems like it's childhood. I'm assuming it's childhood just because she uses the word "daddy's garden" and things like that. And it just gives a childhood feel to summer. I always like summers best. It gives a child when school is out and you have a little bit more freedom, more time to roam around and enjoy life. So look at the pace and the pace of that the number of ands shows a movement of pace. It's this and this and this and this. And so it moves that poem along very well. You notice the line length for most of these lines. One, two, three, four, five, six. Six words is the longest line. Everything else is about two or three line or two or three words per line. One, two, three, four, five words there. One, two, three, four. You see four, three, four, one, four, three, two, 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 or three, one, but that's very short. Two, three, four, three, two, one, three. So you see that she's pushing the pace, moving it along. Additionally, you see that she has lots of imagery. This whole section from the beginning, from the third line on, is imagery that she uses. Sight and taste imagery, where she talks about her daddy's garden with okra, greens, cabbage, and lots of barbecue and milk, buttermilk, and homemade ice cream. All of this is sight or maybe taste, where just you just say a word and boom, it just you remind yourself of the taste of things. My aunt year after year would have a back to school party when I was a kid, and we'd have tacos, and she made a taco that the grease would drip from the taco down, and it would run down your arm and mess up your sleeve if you had one. Man, it was a taco that all of us used to enjoy. We did make fun of her about that greasy taco, but we ate those greasy tacos that she made. Those tacos were amazing. You hear now that there's an appeal to sound and listen to the gospel music outside the church. A sound, and it's the church life, a centerpiece of the African American community, African American experience. You notice that look, there's church life going on there, and there's gospel music that's going on. So we have taste, sight, sound. Now we have the end, sort of a touch, and go to the mountains with your grandmother. Oh man, that's sweet. Spending time with her grandmother and go barefooted. That's the touch. And be warm. That's the touch. And all the time, not only when you're all the time, you're warm all the time, not just when you go to bed and sleep. So there's an element of warmth. Last but not least, we see that there's a narrative flow, right, from eating to sleeping. Now, she doesn't say that they go to bed, but in essence, she does end with this idea of being in bed and going to sleep. And there's a long day, essentially, man. This is the whole day where you're eating, you're going to church, listening to music, out right outside the church. You're walking with the grandmother to the mountains. You're spending time with what it seems like you're spending time with at least one loved one, but maybe other loved ones. And then it's so warm out there, like you don't even got to go to bed and feel that kind of warmth when you're sleeping. Oh man, this poem brings me back. The author uses um, imagery the whole way through. The author uses the word "and" to push the pace of the narrative. The author uses imagery to show the nostalgic feeling of being a child. The author also uses sort of a narrative flow of starting here and ending there as a way to move you along and feel the narrative impact, the narrative weight of this text. This text just puts you right in the mind of being a child, that childhood that you may have had one day, and it throws you back. All I could say about this text is, man, don't forget your childhood. Don't forget the times where you grew up Don't forget the sweet moments that you had. And if you are a child and you happen to be listening to this, which I don't assume you would be, but you need to hang on to that time of your life. No matter actually if you're an adult, old or young, it doesn't matter. Hang on to the time of your life. Soak in the tastes, soak in the sights, soak in the sounds, feel by touch, feel by experiential feeling what's going on there at that time. Do not rush it. Do not push time along, because time will move along just like this poem does. But there can be a nostalgia in the past, and I'm saying this text isn't saying this, but I'm suggesting enjoy the nostalgia in the moment. Wow, what an amazing text! What a text to just throw you back and have you remember your childhood. That's all that I have for this particular text. I will be on. This is number 7 in the series of 10. So I do have 8, 9, and 10 to go. Let me see if I have number 10 or number 8 available, so I can at least give you a preview of what we're going to be studying next. No, I do not have 8 available. I should have 8 available, but I don't. I can't see 8 here. So let's see. Give me 1 second. 8. Yeah, there we go. Dreams. Dreams. We're going to be taking a look at Dreams, a poem called Dreams. We'll take a look at that next time we're together. So I hope that you have a chance to just soak in the moment. Think about, reflect on your nostalgic experiences from the past. Don't push life along too quick, because it goes quick enough. I'll see you in the next one.